Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Wilmore.
Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I hope you're having a great Memorial Day. If you're watching this on Monday or whatever day you're watching, I hope you're having a great day. We have a huge show today, so I do not want to waste any time. Let's get right into it. But first, I do want to take my moment to have my Rosie O'Donnell suck up time. Every episode until she is on this program is going to have a little moment where I show you something that I've had almost my entire life. Can I have it, please? Thank you. That was me pretending that we have a staff. This is my Rosie O'Donnell that I've had since, 1997. Of course, the money went to charity. You could get this at Kmart. And it talks. I don't think it talks anymore. Let's check, shall we? Should we? No, she doesn't. That's so sad. I wonder if I could change the batteries and see if she works. But she used to say catchphrases. Dreams come true with Rosie is one of the things she used to say. And this is my little doll. And, I figure she has access. We're on TV now. You can watch us on Apple TV and Roku and Amazon Fire, and she has those things. So you might know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows her. And if you do, and you happen to send her this video, I would not be mad about it. Or any of the videos of the show, because I will be doing that until she comes on this program. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We have a big show. We're going to be right back after this. Don't go away.
Wouldn't it be great if your business could have a commercial on TV? Now it can. Secure your Season 5 sponsorship by visiting richardwilmore.com. Advertise on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV by sponsoring The Richard Wilmore Show. Become a sponsor today. Go to richardwilmore.com now.
And I'll introduce you. I'm here with Lisa David Olson. You are a prank enthusiast. You are a comic. You are an improv ninja. A ninja. Why do you call yourself a ninja? I like that. I want to be a ninja of sorts, and I'm trying to figure out what type of ninja I can be.
Well, what kind of outfit do you have? Let's start with that.
The outfit?
Gotta have the ninja outfit.
Oh, it's usually a cardigan. I don't know how ninja-esque that is.
Same. Looks like we shop at the same Target.
Probably, yes. Yes, we do.
An improv ninja is one who's always ready with ideas, and I think I am.
I love that. And wow. I'm all excited to talk to you. You sing, you play the drums. I've always wanted to play the drums. When did you learn?
I was in my 20s, and my first hubby and I knew a friend who played guitar, and he just said, "You want to jam with us?" And I said, "Well, I don't have anything I play." And he goes, "You could try the drums." So I started taking lessons, and I still like to jam.
I need better friends who just... I have this show all the time, and we used to film it in person, obviously. And I have bands, and they have drums. And every time after we're done filming, I go, I should have asked. Why didn't I ask to learn? I could have just had free lessons throughout every band that was on the show, but I didn't. Where are you from?
Well, just to answer the drum thing, you've got the YouTubes now.
The YouTube.
So you can learn anything in between baking sourdough bread.
It's true.
Because that's what we all do.
Because we're
And
ninjas.
I'm in Minnesota, right along the Wisconsin border, separated by the mighty Mississippi.
Yes, I'm from Wisconsin.
Which part?
I grew up in northern Wisconsin, like Lake Superior.
Ooh.
Tell you were Midwestern when you what word did you just say that I was like, that's a very that was pretty pronounced.
Oh, did I say something about cheese? Hey.
Yeah, you said something about the bread or something. I don't know what you
Oh,
said.
the sourdough.
Yeah, yes. Yes. And then I lived in Milwaukee for like 15 years and now I'm in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love to see Texas. So invite me and I'll bring my drums.
All right, thank you. You can come anytime. When did you I think this is kind of a dumb question, but when did you realize that like, oh, I'm funnier than most people, or I can use like I have a way of using humor that's different than other people?
It was back when I was really young and I grew up in a traumatic home where my mother was an alcoholic. And we now know that she was self-medicating for mental issues.
Mm.
And she was a very functional alcoholic, but she would go into a rage at times and be physically abusive or take things out on us. And we learned that if mom was laughing, she wasn't beating us. So we found humor early. And now it didn't always work. I'm not saying everything was, hey, look over here. But if you could lighten the moment, sometimes it worked and it's worth a shot. But the other side of that is humor is an escape for me.
Mm-hmm.
And long ago, it would be the Carol Burnett show. You know, if I could watch Carol Burnett, I knew that Carol Burnett was really my mom in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that everything, you know, the sketches were funny and she had a family right there and the whole comedy group that she had in her whole troupe. And in later years, I ended up owning, running, and performing in a sketch comedy and improv troupe.
Wow.
So it's been important to me my whole life. Most comics have that dented can background.
Yeah,
That
I love that. Yes, a dented can. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I think I have a lot of friends who are comedians who I don't think general audience realizes that comedy is rooted in anger or sadness usually. Like it's a coping mechanism. It's a way to escape.
and applause is acceptance.
Yes.
And laughter is very much like a hug. And it is also acceptance. So it's saying, you matter. What you said made me laugh and everybody's happy. Yay. And then they go back home and eat a frozen pizza. Maybe it's not even cooked. Maybe it's literally a frozen pizza and go to bed.
Yeah.
Yay.
Do you remember the first time you got that outside of your home? That applause or that laughter?
It was very much with friends, but I used to put on shows as a kid and I really did pack the place. And it would be a variety show, lots of costumes, songs. I was my own DJ and I would play songs and standing ovations. I mean, it was all my Barbies, but they were a great captive audience.
I was like, my gosh.
Applause.
Yes. I used to have like a little sound machine that I would use. That's what I would use when
You still can on your phone.
That's true. I could. I totally should do this. I should have like a laugh track and applause for this. I should.
And the drum, bump.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
I'll edit it in after this. There's still time. We have time.
There's always time to add an app. There's an app for that.
Yes. So would you say that humor sort of saved you?
That is in my talks that I give when I keynote. I am a speaker and I do say humor saved my life because there was a time I was really down and I had a handful of painkillers. I was a teenager and I truly recall sitting. I can remember the color of them and the color of my bed, everything. And then I sat there and I was pondering, if I just take these, I can escape all of this. But the Carol Burnett show was on and you didn't have DVR or even VHS. So yeah, I'm that old. And I didn't want to miss the show. Yeah. And so it kind of was, give me one more day. Give me, maybe there's another laugh out there. Keep going. Keep trying.
Wow. I think that like, we shop at the same place and we sort of apparently have the same background. That same exact thing happened to me. I was in a bathroom though. And I was remember back in the 90s, the Rosie O'Donnell show?
I do.
And that's where this whole show came from. And I remember thinking, I can't I can't miss an episode. Like, what would she think if I was like, I'm her number one fan? That would be so awful. So I didn't do it.
Have you ever reached out to her to share that?
You want to know? Really? No. Well, so back in the day, speaking of showing your age, you used to be able to just Google people and find their phone numbers. And so I did that once to her, found her phone number, called her, someone answered, and I froze because I was like 13. And I handed the phone to my mom, and my mom talked to the person on the phone, which I now believe was her ex-wife. And the next day on her show, she said, if you tried to call me last night, I'm so sorry because I was stuck in traffic because the Spice Girls were in town. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's talking to me.
That was your brush with Rosie.
She does follow me on Instagram, though.
Shut up.
Or Twitter. She follows me on Twitter. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What? Have you thought of reaching out again and sharing that story?
I mean, I try to tweet her all the time. I think she's afraid of me. So she ignores, she's like there, but like safe distance, you know?
But that's Twitter. I would have mom try and call her again.
That's true. She's in a different, she probably doesn't have the same number from 1997, but maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But,
Well, this is the shout out, everybody. I'm looking to speak with Carol Burnett.
yes.
And Richard wants to speak with Rosie. All we're asking for is an 8-minute quick phone call to thank them for how much they mean to us.
I don't think it's that difficult. And we can have it right here on this show.
Why not?
Why not?
We're here. The cat is here. We're all here.
We're here. We are here. You have taken that, like, your comedy to a next level. You were talking about working with businesses. How does comedy and business come together?
It's really about the skills I learned as an improv artist and a performer. Even in comedy writing, it helps you find the parody in a situation. Just like when you're sitting around on break or with buddies in the old days when we could be in the same room,
Mm-hmm.
and you tell a story and then somebody adds to it, right? They're like, oh, well, then what if when they came through the door, they fell and this happened and that happened. And we all build and make this funny scene out of it. We all do it. But then you make that into an actual sketch, and that's so fun. There's lighter ways to do that in business where it's including the whole group. You can build wacky ideas. Like I love to play How to Get Your Butt Fired. And it's a way to get the whole room engaged, and they don't have to leave their seat. So they love it. All they have to do is shout out wiseacre stuff. So, Richard, if we were going to be completely shut down by the FCC on your show, what would be one awful thing you would bring on that would definitely get you canceled? What's something you could have in this room?
Nudity.
Nudity. Okay. And I'm going to add something dangerous like fire. We're going to set the cats on fire, little fire suits.
Mm-hmm.
And how about drinking? Just
Yes.
chugging alcohol.
Yes. Drugs.
Anything, and some drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've learned more about you. That's good. So we've got nudity and drugs and drinking and flaming cats.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're going to close that down to make it workable. Now we're going to make a show. So instead of nudity, what could we have? Nude suits that are funny.
Mm-hmm.
And we could have root beer floats instead of alcohol. Instead of drugs, we would...
Fun dip instead of like cocaine.
Fun dip that we snort? No.
Yeah. No, we're putting it on a little stick, and yes.
Nobody knows what the stick is made of, but we
No.
accept that.
No.
And then we're not going to have the cats flaming, but let's put costumes on them just because that's silly.
Because that's cute.
So we went wacky and we totally got you called off the air, but now we just made this really chaotic, funny show with sugar. I'm in.
Yes, throw some coffee in there, and I'm
Please.
Yeah.
Always. Yes. So that's something we can do, but also the listening skills it takes to put on a show. In a scene, you and I are told that we're, hey, somebody give me a place where two people might meet. And somebody in the back yells, movie theater or hair salon. And so now it's the hair salon in the movie theater. Why not? And hey, would you like a trim and some popcorn? That kind of stuff. When we make that scene, whoever speaks first is the one who sets the scene. So if you invite me in and you say, have a seat in my chair, I know you're the barber or stylist. And in a conversation for business, it's similar in the sense that it's listening and it's building on an idea. I didn't say, no, we're not at a salon in the movie theater. I didn't say no. I said, yes, and we're building from that. So we make it absurd and we make it funny, but we're building this together. We're committed to the scene and we're committed to listening to each other. I heard you say, you want to sit in my chair? Then I went with it. Yes. And I'll get my hair cut. That's the same as a conversation with a coworker or a boss. Let them be heard and build on what you've heard. Don't shut them down. So if we walked into that scene and I said, I'm not getting my hair cut here. This isn't a hair salon. Where do we go?
Yeah.
And that's called a roadblock. And that happens in performing. That also happens in business and with our partner. Are you listening to hear and maybe ask a follow-up question? Are you listening to fix, but they didn't ask you to fix anything? You know, that can take the pressure off of you if you simply say, are you venting right now, sweetheart? Or do you want my help? I'm going to listen a different way.
That's so. Where did that realization come from? Like, when did you switch to like, oh no, I can also, like, I'm not just funny and I'm not just up here like, there's actual work that can be done with this?
I think because my comedy troupe is the family I chose. Since I do have family issues, and who doesn't, I'm a person that does set boundaries, and I'm stubborn. I'm a little bit Syrian and a little bit German, and so shun. Dwight Schrute, shun. And so I choose who can be in my circle as I recommend other people do.
Yeah.
Like, look at Thanksgiving. Uncle Frank should come, even though he's going to trash the place and pee on the plants. But, you know, he should be here because he's family. I'm not that person. No, you don't get into my circle that way. And I'm not saying I'm like all righteous. I'm just saying, nah, that's okay. Life's too short.
Yeah, it's protecting yourself and it's protecting your circle. And I love that. That's super smart.
Yeah, well, I'm old, so I know these things now. I wish I knew when I was old and when I was younger, but knowing that that's my comedy family, I realized what makes me depend on them, trust them, and go to them. And also, it's what's funny is with comedy, if you're putting on a show, you don't share personal issues if there's something going on. Yes, if your knee hurts and you can't do a certain scene, of course you share that. But I was going through divorce and nobody knew till after the show run. Wow. You know, it's things like that. I think that helps with building the trust is like, we're here, we're going to focus on this right now. Let's keep the other noise where it belongs.
Literally living in the moment.
Yes, being present, being in the now. It's really important.
Are your workshops, is there like a certain type of business or size of business that you work with, or is it anybody who reaches out that you connect with?
I have done smaller workshops, which are interesting in a different way. I love to work with storytelling as well. Storytelling for business is really important because that connects a feeling. We buy with emotion, we buy with feeling, as well as, oh, it's a discount. Why we buy mattresses on President's Day, random fact, I don't know. But, you know, it's a way to connect through business. So if it's a group of 9, I'm going to lead a different style of workshop because we're going to have more time to be individual. But I've also done these virtual things. We're all creative right now and learning the virtual world. You just said yourself, your show is changed, but you're making it go. And so I can do large groups as well. And I'm an interactive speaker, but I've kind of learned how to work that chat box back and forth as well. So my improv stuff is a little bit off as far as grabbing from people, but I can still ask for ideas in the chat and build a scene. It's just myself working it through.
It's just different. Yeah. Have you done like I know a lot of people during the pandemic are doing Zoom comedy nights and virtual reality comedy nights. Have you done any of that, or are you really, how have you used the pandemic?
I have done a better reset in learning about myself as far as when everything was kind of screeching and we were all in our little bit of shock zone and the gigs that I had lined up were dropping. And I have a therapist and I recommend that everyone check in with those professionals. And she said, you don't have to do everything all the time. If you're not feeling creative and there's nothing out there, just give yourself grace. And I loved that word. And at the time I was stumped with my podcast because we had a lot going on in the summer. We lost some people close to us and I had this no drive. And when she said, give yourself grace, it was the permission I needed. And I took a step back and was able to just be okay in that and just get through what I had to get through. Then when it was time, boom, now I'm pumping out podcasts and getting more speaking gigs. Now just got accepted for a TEDx. What? My goal.
When is
So
that?
when is it?
Yeah, when are you recording that?
It might get to be live. We don't know. So we don't know. But if it is, it's going to be broadcast April 17, which April is humor month. Ting.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
That's so fun.
Boy, did I sweat. It was a 3-minute pitch, and I was just like, no, I didn't.
Fit it all in 3 minutes and tell us what you're going to do in a TEDx. Exactly. Yeah, it's like the end of a pill commercial. That's probably how you have to talk.
Tactile license extra.
Exactly. Tell everybody about the podcast. What is it? What's it about? And where can they find it? Obviously, wherever podcasts are at this point. Yes.
Thank you. It's Stranger Connections, and probably easier to find if you say Stranger Connections with Lisa David Olson. And it is celebrating the weirdos. So it's I want the weird people. I want quirky hobbies, weird careers, strange life stories. You know, I've got this guy that I interviewed that takes a 40-pound wooden gnome everywhere he goes. Ahab and Jeej, and that's their names. And he has jumped out of an airplane with Ahab, and it's something about his grandpa's ship, and this gnome has been in the family for 700 years, and he's awesome.
Wow.
And he's a young man, and he's doing all these things like strangers want selfies with him. He's climbed a mountain with him. That's awesome. And he's making connections, and I think he's connected to a charity as well. Just a really cool dude. I interviewed a man who used to be a monk for 9 years. Of course, my line of questioning, how'd you know you wanted to be one? How'd you know you wanted to quit? Do you like women?
The end.
All those things were answered in the show.
Yes.
But there's a lady who talks to animals through Zoom, and she can tell you what your cat is trying to tell you right now.
Oh my God, I just saw someone who was doing that, and I thought that was do you remember the pet psychic? Do you remember her?
Oh, I did hear that. Yes.
I just saw someone who was doing that through Zoom, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to check out that episode. Isn't it interesting? Like, this is what I love about this show, is just meeting people you would never meet in a million years.
Yes.
And everybody has such interesting stories. Everybody.
And we all have something in common, and that's the drive of having my podcast. It's probably a lot like what you're doing, because no matter where you're sitting in Texas and Minnesota, we have something in common. For us, it's our cardigans, but right. We have a lot more in common, and it's just so interesting, like where you used to live and things like that.
Yeah. If
you just take the time, and that's what my project in Bravery was about. I can't remember if I sent you pictures, but I do serious selfies with strangers. And so you just meet some people, and it was pre-pandemic. I've still done it since, but in a safer manner. And the first ones was 2 girls having ice cream, and they were taking some selfies by a brick wall, and it was really cute. And this idea came up to me, and I'm outgoing, but it was still like stranger danger panic. I was nervous, and I have to do the things that make me a little bit nervous. Mm-hmm. And I said, can we get a picture together? And they go, are you an influencer? And so I had to go home and Google what that was. And then I said, oh, there's one more thing. We can't smile. And that just occurred to me, like, why be normal? And trying not to smile makes you laugh and smile. And then you're like laughing, then you
have to
trying to not laugh.
Yes.
Which makes it even sillier. And so what happened that I didn't expect is the laughter afterwards. But then, let me see which way. There. And then becoming friends and meeting their moms, who, after my book came out, they knew me. One of the moms actually knew me, and we would have never known that about each other. And so we went shopping, and we were singing ABBA songs, and we lied and said we were in a musical.
Yes, of course. That's very Minnesota of you. Hold up the cover of that book so people can see. And I will also put it up on the screen.
Laughs on Rye. Yes. And it is an improviser's memoir. And it's on Amazon, and I also did an audio version. So, A Life Made of Choices Instead of Excuses. And it's really short snippets with a lesson at the end. Not a lesson teaching you, just what I learned. So
Right.
there's the truisms of growing up in an alcoholic home. And then there's also how I prank people I work with who happen to be police officers, or had my kids prank people when they were growing up. I'm an embarrassing mom and proud of it.
That's so funny. We I kind of grew up like that too. We would prank my neighbors who didn't like it, but a friend of mine and a friend and I would prank our neighbors, and then they would come and yell at us, and then we would have to stop before they told my parents. But we thought it was funny. And that's
So, do you mind sharing what that prank was? Because in every one of my episodes, my guests share a prank or a dare that they've had done to them or done to others.
so what we would do, we would write letters to people. And then
Tell me more.
I'm trying. I don't think they were like nice letters. I think it was like we're watching you, and it was very obvious that it was us.
I know who you are, and I
Yes.
saw what you did.
Yes.
Love, Richard.
Right. Yes. Love, Richard and Lori is probably what it said. And then, yes, you'll never figure it out. Like, and then they would literally walk over, because we like shared. They would just walk over and be like, "Stop doing that." And we were like, "Oh, how did you know?"
You're so scary.
Yeah. That's why I hear that a lot. Yes.
I know who you are, and I saw what you did.
Yes.
The Richard
The call-
Wilmer edition.
That's how bad ass of a kid I was. That's what I was doing. And then I would go inside and play talk show host in my bedroom. That's what every 10-year-old would do.
That's so funny. And then you became one.
Yes.
See?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And still Rosie doesn't know it, but she will eventually. We'll be friends at some point.
Well, now that sounded threatening with the whole letter thing, but it sounds like maybe you should write to her.
Maybe I should write her a letter and tell her that she needs to be friends and that she has no other choice.
Hey, remember that? Dear Rosie, remember that Spice Girls traffic jam? Call me for more.
I do. Yes.
I do. So
Yeah. Obviously you do. You haven't been doing anything. Talk to me about your daily mantra.
my daily mantra is to be bold and be brave. And even if that means a baby step, to be bold, maybe it's try a new recipe. How can you be brave, but only take a small step? You're not going to travel, but maybe you're going to actually walk out to the mailbox and linger a little bit longer, or take a walk around the block. Or is it that you call somebody you haven't spoken to in a long time, or to maybe plan that jumping out of an airplane, things like that. What is something bold or brave, a tiny thing you could do every day? Learning about something new, starting a new hobby. I started painting just because I can. I'm not great, but it didn't stop me, and I am enjoying it. So I think there's that. It's to try that thing. How many people say, I'm going to write a book. I should write a book, or I should learn to play the drums. Somebody once said that to me.
Yeah,
How could you take that small step and actually go toward that thing and dare yourself? So I say dare yourself daily, and just be weird. Just experience all the stuff. Why not?
Why not? I work for a nonprofit, an arts and health nonprofit, and I always say that we are like the island of misfit toys. Like, it's just a bunch of random musicians and artists and writers and people who don't fit in other areas, and we're all just hanging out and being creative all day long. It's really fun.
Absolutely.
We're
You're living that too, and I think that's amazing. So how can you go even outside of that?
Right.
Get them to do something more
Yeah.
different. Not like you're looking for it, but just to shake things up.
I love that. You have a little giveaway and a little prize and a little extra fun stuff for people watching.
Yes.
Everybody?
And thank you for asking about it. I sent you the handouts, or however we're doing it. And then I do creative business coaching or creative calls for entrepreneurs. Anybody looking, an example is somebody's trying to launch their book during COVID, and you can't just have that in-person party. I've got ideas. I've helped other people with that and how to reach out. So yeah, I do creative calls. And so I would do that at a rate for $40 if you say that you heard it here on the Richard Wilmore Show.
Here.
Right here, right here.
Tell them the cat sent you.
Yes. What is the cat's name?
This is Winnie. She's 17 and she's blind. And She probably doesn't actually even know she's sitting here right now. I don't know what she's.
Aww.
Yeah, she's
She's
an
cute.
interesting little character. So for people to sign up for that, where do they go? How do they best connect with you?
Yes, the easiest, quickest way, I just say Facebook Messenger or, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm on all those. Just message me. Or my website is lisadavidolson.com. And then there's a pop-up creative guide, just a little starter pack that you can sign up for as well and get on the email list.
I love it. Thank you, Lisa, for being here.
I've got one more thing. I've got the Counterclockwise group on Facebook, all humor. It's just all clean humor. We're basically sharing memes back and forth and just supporting each other with puns and laughter. And we need humor now more than ever. So join Counterclockwise too.
I'm going to do that right after this. And we'll put the links in the comments to the show so everybody knows how to find you easier.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa David Olson.
Thank you, Richard Wilmore and Winnie.
We'll be right back, everyone, after this.
Wouldn't it be great if your business could have a commercial on TV? Now it can. Secure your Season 5 sponsorship by visiting richardwilmore.com. Advertise on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV by sponsoring The Richard Wilmore Show. Become a sponsor today. Go to richardwilmore.com now.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Abraham. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
How is your 2021 going?
It's been very hectic. Surprisingly, especially with COVID and the transition, us going back to normal. It's been a little bit of kind of a rocky start in the very beginning, but not unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm here in Texas, and Texas, we started opening up a little bit quicker than the other states. So I was able to kind of get a head start on a few things before, everybody else caught up with the game.
Yeah, I follow you on social media. It seemed like even when the pandemic started, you were not slowing down. You are one of the busiest people I know. I mean, you're a writer, you're an actor, you're a director, and I don't think, did you stop at all? Did you have a moment of, I have nothing to do?
No, I didn't. I kept driving through it. I'm one of those people that I guess you could call it, the old-fashioned workaholic. So like that's the Japanese side of my bloodline. We can't stop working.
What were you working on during the pandemic, and what are you working on now?
I actually started my film Darkness. The city shut down, and I had a couple friends that were really close to me, and I was like, "Hey, are you busy? Like, what are you doing?" And they were like, "Oh, nothing." So we went down to the park, and the park was completely shut down. It was closed. There was nobody there. It was just us three, the camera guy, myself, and another actress, and we started a 5-page short, and then it kind of grew from a 5-page short to a 158-page script.
Wow.
Which I'm about a week from completing. So it's been an amazing journey, very stressful because I felt like I almost bit off more than I could chew.
Mm-hmm. Is there a part that you love doing the most, or is it like a combination of everything? Like, do you love acting more than writing or directing, or do you kind of love being able to do all of it?
Always going to be acting. I love being able to crawl into different characters. It's like Halloween every day when you're an actor.
Mm-hmm.
But being on the flip side of things, and I have so much more respect for the casting department, the producers, the ADs, everybody that's on the set. Like, I have, being a one-man show in this production has been one of the hardest things I've ever tackled. I was never the best organizer of things, so like getting everything organized, everybody's schedule in harmony, and trying to get everybody out on the set, making sure everything is COVID friendly, was added expense, buying sanitizers and making sure there's extra masks on set, and food craft services and everything that you have for your cast, and crew. It was a very hectic experience, but I learned a lot. And like I said, I respect the whole aspect of filmmaking now in a broader spectrum. So it was definitely an experience, but it was an experience that I felt as an actor was very necessary.
Yeah, to kind of get your feet wet and know everything probably makes you better all around when you kind of know what everybody else has to do.
Yeah, but it's also, like, I think as actors, we kind of have it easy, right? We get up on set, we show up and, say a few lines and get into our character, and then we walk off set and say la vie,
Have fun.
our call time is this time, and then we're out. But when you have to, like go through the whole practice of setting up, breaking down, making sure that, especially as a director side of things, making sure your actors are delivering the way that you want them to deliver, making sure the lighting's proper, making sure that the camera guy's in the right position, continuity, there's so much to it. And like, as an actor, I don't think that all actors really understand that work inner and outer working of a film.
Mm-hmm. When did you start acting?
My first film that I did was in high school. When I'm from Kauai in Hawaii, and we did a film called A Day in the Life in Kauai. And we went around the island of Kauai to the paintball place, to the kayak rentals, and we basically laid out the island of Kauai and all the activities. And then my actual produced film was a film called Lowrider Weekend here in San Antonio, and starred Jesse Borrego and Denny De La Paz. And that was by Ephraim Productions. And then the next big film that I did after that was The New Guy. I was on the set of that when they filmed that at San Marcos Stadium, Bobcat Stadium here in Texas.
What do you were saying before that it's almost like Halloween. What do you love about acting? Just to pretend?
Well, to me, it's not pretend, really, because you really, if you really love your craft, you really hone that character. And it's like, what was the movie that just came out? Dr. Sleep. Did you see that film?
Yeah.
So how he took those little boxes, and each one of those ghosts were basically a little box that he put away in his brain. That's pretty much how I make my characters. I design the character, make that type of personality, and put it in a little box and put it away.
That's a really good way to think about it, actually.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your film Out of an Abyss, which is on Amazon Prime. Can you tell everybody about that?
Okay, so Out of an Abyss is actually my book.
Oh, your book.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
you had
that's on Amazon Prime. The film that I'm working on right now is Darkness, and that's
Gotcha.
Darkness 2021, and that will be out and released with Burning Ball Productions. I'm hoping before December.
How long does it take to? How long is the entire process from beginning of end usually of a film?
Honestly, I would say
depends.
it depends on how much money is invested in the film. Because the more money you have into the production, then the faster the film can be produced.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the revenue is what really drives the film of being able to make sure that everybody's where they need to be and having all the working parts in place. When it's a self-funded film, an independent film like Darkness, I literally, everything came out of my pocket.
Yeah.
And I had a few, sponsors here and there, but it was nothing comparison to the money that had to go into place to make sure, because I literally started from scratch. I bought my camera equipment, my lighting, my sound. I did everything myself. So fundamentally, that's one of the things I can say as an actor is, you learn when you're on set. You sit back and you learn, you watch, and you see how the producer does things. You see how the director's directing. You see how the continuity person's on the set taking pictures and making sure that everything's within the lines of continuity. The memorization that comes into play of trying to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be is a huge, huge thing.
Was it? Have you? I want to play the trailer that you sent along for the film.
Sure.
So take a look at the trailer.
Yeah.
Do you truly believe in vampires. Do you? I don't think you truly do. I think this is a little game for you. Or is it?
All right, I don't like scary movies because then I can't sleep, but I do like suspense and horror. I like them. I just then can't sleep. But that looks like it's going to be a really good film.
Well, I appreciate it. I've always been a horror fan since I was a kid. My mom was the type of mother that loved horror, and I started at a very young age watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Exorcist and those types of films. And I remember when I was scared, my mom used to tell me, she was just always remember there's somebody with the cue card that says action and cut. So it really, as silly as it sounds, like as a kid, when I'm envisioning every one of those takes, it kind of like jump started my career as an actor way back then.
Wow. Oh, can we talk about your book?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Show it one more time, or show everybody what it is and tell everybody about it.
So I wrote this book about almost 4 years ago. I had left San Antonio, moved back to Hawaii. I had reconnected with an old love and fell flat on my face. You make those mistakes sometimes in life.
At least you learn. As long as you learn something, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. So I literally went 3 years of celibacy, and I got away from the dating scene. I kind of took the time to kind of refine myself and reinvent myself. And prior to acting, well, not prior to, but I have always been an actor, but I always did acting as kind of just like a hobby. And before that, I was still in the entertainment business, but I was on the dancing side of the entertainment business. And I toured across the world. I worked in Vegas and LA. I went to Italy. I danced in Japan. But when I got to like 35, 36 years old, I told myself, I was like, yeah, I think I'm outgrowing this and I need to move forward in my life. And I started seeing the other guys around me that were like in their 40s and almost 50 years old still dancing. And I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy. And no offense to them and what they did, but I was literally on the top of the totem pole for so many years. I stayed #1 in Texas for almost 15 years.
Wow.
And like toured all over the place with several different groups. And for a guy like me that's 5'5", at the time, maybe 160 pounds from Hawaii, it was unheard of for anybody to even get into that industry and was able to make waves. So I was very fortunate that I had the knowledge of the production, which kind of led me into being able to produce the showcases that I put together. And that all kind of came, like I say every day I danced, I actually was just an actor pretending to be a dancer. So I got out of the industry, but I got out of the industry under the constraints of I survived it. And I survived the drug aspect of it. I survived the sexuality aspect of it. And not many people can say that. Not many people can say that, oh, well, I did this for so many years and I never slept with anybody for money. Mm-hmm. A lot of people can't say that they didn't go through rehab and sex abuse, trauma, counseling, and these types of things. I was very, very fortunate to get in and get out, but yet had still been able to be successful while doing it. So it's basically, the book is on the aspects and the guidance of how the 7 deadly sins affects your life in that industry, and how as a person, we all go through our ups and downs in life, but it doesn't make you. Even though we go through these corrupt times or rough times in our rough patches in our life, this book kind of basically notates the fact that, it is a journey, it's a discovery, and we learn from our discoveries, and we can move forward and start a new life. And that's why I wrote the book.
I love it. And the book is on Amazon Prime. That's where you get the book. And
Yes.
Abraham is giving out a copy. So thank you very much for that. You can
Yes.
go to our social media, our Instagram at Rich Wilmore Show, and we'll show you how you can win a copy of the book. Thank you very much for joining me today.
No, thank you so much for having me. And you know, we've been trying to get this together for a while now, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't want to forget this date. You know, like I'm very much so a person that keeps my promises. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'll be there. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Professionality is one of the biggest things that I cherish in life, is being able to be professional, being on time.
Well, I can't thank you enough for joining me. How can people best support you and follow you and connect with you?
You can look up my, I have www.kikisuki.com is my website. And then you could also follow me on social media. Instagram is Takatsuki, TAKATSUKI at Instagram.com, or Kiki Takatsuki at Facebook.com.
There you go. Abraham, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'll make sure that I get a copy signed just for you. And then I'll also send that copy for your guests. And thank you for having me, Richard. And, you know, definitely when I get part 2 of Darkness out, I'm going to try to holler at you, say, hey, what are you doing?
You know how to reach me. You know how to reach me. We started filming in-person interviews in August, so in a studio.
Great.
So you can be there right away.
Okay.
We'll be right back, everyone, right after this.
Wouldn't it be great if your business could have a commercial on TV? Now it can. Secure your Season 5 sponsorship by visiting richardwilmore.com. Advertise on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV by sponsoring The Richard Wilmore Show. Become a sponsor today. Go to richardwilmore.com now.
When did you fall in love with music? I think music was one of those things that most people grow up with, but when did you realize I want to do this, I want to create this, I'm good at this?
So, honestly, my father used to make little mixtapes for me when they were actually tapes. And so we didn't have many nursery rhymes around the house. I had Doors, I had Bob Marley and the Beatles. And those were, that was what, I mean, you know, as a kid, I wanted to be an all-time, you know, hero or whatever. But like every time I had this little Fisher Price, I don't know if probably everyone remembers if they're, you know, born between 82 and 90, little Fisher Price stereo that you can record with.
Yep.
It's like a little, the earliest karaoke machines, I'm guessing. And I used to just jam with that and dream of doing that. So, but I think it became more realistic. In high school, I quit playing football and got into journalism, creative writing, and choir my senior year, because that was more of a future for me. And since I've written most of my life, just putting my voice to my words is like, it made it official, you know? So, I mean, since then I've considered that like my first occupation, whether it hasn't always been my first income, you know?
I do. I totally get that. What was the first instrument that you picked up?
Played the guitar a little bit, but I mean, technically the pen, because I've always been singing and I've always been putting my lyrics to vocals. So, yeah, I would say I play the microphone, you know?
What, why is it important for you to write out and to write music? And like, it's such a great expression, and then it's a way to communicate with everybody and also to connect with people. I think music is such a special way to do that. How do you find it, like when you're out performing, when we're able to be in person and live? Like, what's that like to go out and connect with people?
I mean, so the actual act of writing it down is like the first step, where you're taking what you've got up here or in your heart, and you're putting it down. You're making it tangible, you know. So, and I've always considered, you know, the artist and the creator as someone who's performing an act of magic, you know. It's mystical when you take something from this other side and you put it, you create something physical and you make something someone can touch, you know, whether that's music or a painting. So it's, I mean, that's an amazing thing, but also the opportunity to share the emotion, you know, that because you have something powerful in your heart, you know, that you feel, and most of the time it's something that and it's not even necessarily the words that you're expressing, but the emotion that comes with it, with the tone and everything, and on a different level, on not just like consuming the words and the lyrics, or the concept, but receiving your heart, you know, from the other side of the stage. That's like, I don't know, that's a beautiful thing. It's a way of connecting and speaking to each other without words. So I'm in love with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I always imagine, or I always wonder what it's like as a musician to go out there and, you know, especially like the people who are selling out arenas, and you walk out there and there are 20,000 people screaming at you and all of that energy coming to you, what that must feel like and how you take that in. I'm always fascinated by that with especially musicians, I guess, because it's so electric. Um, and then all of a sudden you're virtual and you have no interaction with people and you have none of that like immediate. I just wonder like how that changes how you like feel and how you work around that.
Sure. You know, yeah, it's easier in person to harness like that adrenaline, and because I've always been like, thought that stage fright is my friend, you know, because
Mhm.
it helps you focus a little bit. The fear and it's, you know, it's the adrenaline that goes through your blood system, and all of a sudden you've got some fire that helps you pinpoint a feeling. Um, it makes you sharper, but um, so that's the challenge, you know, to be able to be as sharp for artists right now, in a virtual sense. And I think that just comes from honing the craft, you know.
Yeah.
And um, I haven't been as active as I would like to be this year, or this last year, 2020. So but at the same time, it's not as much of a, I mean, being able to reach out and touch someone is priceless, but at the same time, it's not as much of a worry for me, being that I mean, and that's not really tooting my own horn, but at the same time, like there are a few things that I've been, you know, on the professional side that I've been good at, but as far as singing and writing, like it's the only thing I've been doing since I was 6, 7 years old. So yeah.
It's in your blood at this point. It's your DNA.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the type of music you have, judging by your Instagram handle. But can you tell us the type of music you make?
So I think a quick definition or handle would be trap soul. Um, and that it is. I've always wanted to keep it hip hop. I've always wanted to do hip hop. You know, and I don't always want to rap, but God, it's been the moving genre in my lifetime. So that's got to be the base, you know. So
Yeah.
lots of trap sounds in it, and also there's a, you know, there's an element of my past life that I can't really take away from the music and the experiences that I put into my lyrics. So at the same time, soul music is that. Um, that exaltation that comes from the gospel, and the sensuality that comes from the rhythm and blues side, So, I mean, 99% of what I do is love songs, really. So,
I love that. How can people best support you right now?
so go out and check out my YouTube page, stream my music. It's I've got a live session out there called Taboo by El Sol, and that was one of our entries for the NPR's Tiny Desk concert contest. Didn't win, but a lot of incredible contenders, especially this year. Like people got creative.
What are you going to be performing for us today?
Basically just a little scat that I haven't since I don't have I don't got the band behind me or anything. Figured I'd just a cappella something that's called Shine.
I love it. I'm going to get out of your way and have at it.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I done told your mama way too many times. I done sold these brothers far too many lies. Well, I've been around town so long, I got nowhere to hide. But you gon' see me smile in the by and by. Oh, you might know me, but you won't know what to think. Between the stories of my deeds and who I am. When a man has got soul, it's likely to show. I got game to be sold, but it ain't to be told. Many may try, and many may fall. You got to know when to fall your head and know when to fall. Scratch out my lyrics in blood, engrave my glories in gold. And if you can't follow this flow, I have to throw your ass out the door. Gonna do that, do that, do that. No, no, you can't do that and that no more. I got to shine. Shine, yeah. I got to shine. Shine all the way that I can. Well, my mama never told me life was gonna be easy. Oh, and my daddy ain't sure hold my head high. Oh, and the Bible said that the good Lord gives and He takes. But I'll never double take my shine. I got to shine, baby. Shine, yeah. You got to shine, baby. Shine the only way that you can. Yeah.
That was great. This is what I love about having the show is I get to start every show out with music. So I thank you very much for hanging out with me today and for singing for us and really jump-starting my day.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Shining.
Jake, everyone, go follow him right there on Instagram.
It's the Richard Wilmore Show.